One of the biggest challenges in podcasting is marketing the podcast. It's not enough to create great content, you also need to promote it efficiently. In his left hand, he had a huge knife. I was just thinking like, okay, this is it. My leg gets like pinned on my bike as I slide across the intersection. Welcome back. I'm just one person and this is the podcast. This is episode 1. Technically, this is my second time recording. The last episode I did kind of like a pilot episode. Would be episode 0. Check that out if you like. It's super clickbait, but everything's legit. Everything is legit. Episode 0 went okay for the most part. I think I got it down for now, especially when I don't have guests. I'll probably just do like 20-minute, 30-minute sessions and then edit that all up. I have all good stuff because I don't know. I just feel like no one's gonna listen to me for that long. I feel like because episode 0, I try to do something. I try to go on Reddit. I've never been on that website. I try to like read stories or something and like react to them, but that's not my type of content. I can't do that. It was just really awful, huge train wreck. So I think for now, we're just gonna do some story time. It's not even like a podcast, just me telling a story. But I'll just promote it like a podcast. So eventually I'll get like guests in and stuff. So all that good stuff. It went really, really bad. Right before I recorded, I got this huge bag of M&Ms. I was just snacking on them, getting ready to record a quick session with you guys. And I spilled like half of that bag. Okay, the bag's like 2 pounds. I probably spilled half a pound on the floor right here. Kind of, trying to ruin my night. I'm not gonna let it happen. But yeah, that was a tragic moment for Shane here. All right. Last time I think we talked about management, retail management, how we had to deal with customers and all that stuff. Some other things. I'm just gonna get right into it. It's something I want to discuss. Basically, I want to discuss near-death experiences. So one time, it was probably when I was like a sophomore in high school, or maybe even a freshman in high school. I used to live on this like bad side of town. It wasn't like the worst side of town, but also wasn't a good side of town. Anyways, there used to be like a huge ditch or like a river that stretched through town. Probably with all this information I'm saying, you could probably just figure out where I live. And then it was never full. It was always empty. And we also always used to go down there and just walk around and just hang out. And so when there's storage drains that drain out into the river, so neighborhoods don't flood and all that stuff. And we used to also go down there, and you can also just walk down there and walk like a mile down when it used to be dried out and stuff, and just explore it, which is crazy. But I kid you not, one time I was walking down there with my brother, and we're chilling, and we're sitting down by the river, just sitting there chatting it up, enjoying the company. I kid you, we're sitting right next to that drainage. I kid you not, some random guy comes out of the drainage pipe, walks up towards us, not even like an arm's length away is when he like how close he was when he walked directly in front of us. But the worst part was in his left hand, he had a huge knife, like a huge hunting like bowie knife, like probably like this big in his hand, unsheathed, just chilling. Like God knows what he was doing in that storage drain. I was just thinking like, okay, this is it. This is when everything goes. All right, let's do this. But I kind of just went like, I kind of act like the knife wasn't there. He's walking by. I'm going like, what's up? How's it going? How's it going? Yep, chilling. Yeah. No, I forgot my knife back home. Nah, I didn't know it was a knife convention. But yeah, it was crazy. We got up, went straight home, directly home. You know, that was crazy. Um, Anyways, I wonder what that guy's up to nowadays. Probably still doing that, spooking the kids. Other than that, I didn't have really any big experiences like near death or per se, except this one other time where I literally got hit by a car. Um, it was okay. I got hit by a car. So last episode I mentioned how I'm a retail manager. Um, but before I was a manager, I was just a regular, uh, like regular full time cashier. And the place I used to live at when I first started the job, when I got out of college, it was 4 miles away from my job. And back then, the first 6 months of my employment, I did not own a car at all. Like I didn't even have my license. And so I went to the store, bought a bike. And so every day for the first 6 months of my employment, I rode my bike 4 miles to work and 4 miles back home. You know, no matter how hot it was, no matter it was raining, snowing, all that good stuff. I probably like 2 or 3 times I showed up to work soaking wet. But I prepared and brought like dry clothes and all that other good stuff. I was always prepared. Anyways, what I was saying is one night we got done on my bike. I was headed home from a long day at work, and our I'm just gonna give all these hints. My job is like next to this highway, and the highway there's a big intersection. This two and the highway the intersections has like a busy street as well that crosses the highway, and on the other side of the highway is a like a mall, like the busiest mall in town, and then there's like a Quick Trip down the street, the next intersection, and that intersection is super busy. So I'm riding. I get to the intersection. I'm ready to cross and then cross, so I can cross the street and then cross the street again to get to the opposite side of the intersection. And I'm sitting there. No, I'm not even sitting there. I'm riding towards the intersection, and the way I want to cross, it's on a red light, so those cars are stopped. And so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go for it without push the button. I'm just gonna go. I think I can make it in time. So I start the cross, and I say about halfway, like right before I hit the median, the light turns green for them to start going. And you would think they wouldn't they wouldn't start to going. So the car that I was in front, it was like a red. Why did I say red? It was a white. It was a white SUV. No, it was a white sedan, and it just went. It didn't even bother me. It wasn't even bothered that I was there. It just started going, and it rams right into my back wheel, pinning, and I get tossed off my bike. My leg gets like pinned under my bike as I slide across the intersection. Thankfully, I was far enough through so he wouldn't like hit me directly in the middle. He just hit my back wheel, and I'm sitting there. Like it was like a Tuesday night too. And I'm sitting there getting hit by a car, and as I get hit by a car, everything kind of goes slow motion. I'm thinking, man, a Tuesday night out of all the nights, you gotta be kidding me. Anyways, I hit the ground. I kind of sit there for a couple seconds. I get up, kind of look around. There's all these cars around me. I just pick up my bike, walk over to the curb, and throw it. And that's when I realized the car that just hit me ran off. Didn't even check to see if I was okay. It like hit and run, drove off. But the thing you didn't know at night, Batman Batman was brutal. Batman was literally in the intersection in his white Ford pickup truck. He went after that guy. Full pursuit. Like, this guy had been like a off-duty police officer or something. I don't know. Anyways, this guy goes after the guy that just hit me, gets his like description, car plate, and all this other good stuff. Um, and I'm still putting myself together at the curb and all this stuff. I'm looking around, checking myself. I feel fine for the most part, just a little shook up. And I call my friend. Say, hey man, I just got hit by a freaking car. What should I do? He's like, I don't know, just call the cops, I guess. I call the cops. They show up probably like 10 or so minutes later. But before that, the Batman shows back up, gives me like the license plate and the description and all that stuff. What a freaking legend. Shout out to that guy, actually. Shout out, dude. My roommate time comes pick me up. The cops show up. Turns out I had like my leg all like bleeding. The one that got pinned under the tire. It was all beat up and bleeding. I got a big scar on it still. And yeah, it turns out the guy that hit me had a like an active warrant out for his arrest. Little comparison to last episode if you watched that. Yeah, so that was flipping crazy. Yeah, and that was the end of it. I never heard anything after that. He got off scot-free. So, kudos to him. And I did put my bike in retirement. Yeah, it was done for. The rim was folded up like a taco. Folded up like a taco. So, there's no coming back to that. What did I do? I think I just bought another bike. Yeah. Because they're pretty cheap. Cheaper than like a car. And at that time, I think I was just getting my license. I just obtained my motorcycle license. So I was really looking for a vehicle. I ended up getting like a Honda Pilot. So I think it was a really big deal. Yeah, work. That was probably the worst experience I had going home from work. Now in work, that's where it's really crazy. I talked about how we have all these Karens and whatnot, and like customers that come in the store that's always like yelling and whatnot at us, and how we have to deal with it all the time. I'm trying to think of a time. Oh, my first official freak out on a customer I had wasn't too bad. It was pretty basic cashier stuff. I just first started. Yeah, that's the thing with like, so the place I work, it's like a high pace cashiering. So you're like cashiering pretty fast. So typically, new cashiers they get yelled at a lot because they're still learning it, but they still have to go fast and all the other good stuff. So I'm new. I'm sitting on the cashier, cashiering all that good stuff, and I'm cashiering. She's got all this stuff, basic, grocery shopping. You got produce, cans, cooler, milk, eggs, freezer items, all that good stuff. I ring her up. I get to her produce. I'm scanning her produce. She's like, "Hey, do you mind being a little more gentle on my apples?" She just kind of threw them in there. I don't remember doing that. I'm pretty gentle with groceries. I don't be tossing stuff around, all that good stuff. Yeah, sure. And when they say that, I always pick up the item and inspect it and look at it, make sure I didn't like actually damage anything, and then even if I did, even if I don't, I always say, hey, won't hurt my feelings if you want to go grab a new one or not. It's totally fine. And then we go on about. And I think a week later, my boss comes to me and be like, hey, I talked to you about something. You got a complaint. Basically, you're too rough for the lady's apples, and she just went off on you in the comment section. She was a keyboard warrior, so to speak. But I didn't really see anything after that. We talked about it. I troubleshooted myself, so I wouldn't be doing that stuff again. And that was that. That was my first time. And I always remember their faces when I have like difficult customers, because a lot of times they come back through, and when I see them, I like be super careful with them, super sensitive, so I don't do anything. But yeah, that was basically much it. What were we at? 18 minutes. I think I might. Yeah, I think I might call it there. I was trying to hit 20, but kind of really fell off there. Kind of really don't really know what to talk about. Don't really know what else to talk about. So that's gonna be the wrap up episode 1. Appreciate everyone who's watching. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Trying to get my subscribe numbers up. Last video did pretty well. I think right now it's sitting at. Let me actually look. Okay, so last video sitting at 17 views from the last 22 hours. I haven't looked at the analytics at all, but I'm assuming like they sat through the first 2 minutes and clicked off at the most. But we're at 7 subscribers from 4 to 7. Let's go. All right, make sure you subscribe. I appreciate it, and peace. Nigga, leave you stankin', nigga. What the fuck you thinking, nigga? I won't die for this shit or what the fuck I say.